We're on express elevator to hell. Going down.
You don't know the power of the dark side.
He's gone from here. The evil is gone.
What can I say? I'm a blast from the past.
Should have stayed there.
Come with me if you want to live.
Welcome to Big Lip Radio presents No Girls Allowed, the movie review podcast. From new movies to retro reviews, we promise that we will never talk about chick flicks. Here's your host, Jerad.
All right. Thank you very much for downloading this episode of Big Lip Radio presents No Girls Allowed, the movie review podcast. Now, some of you may be thinking that's kind of a weird name for a movie review podcast. Why would you name it that? Well, we named it that because this is not a podcast that is going to talk about chick flicks. Not even a little bit, not even once, not even occasionally. This is a podcast that's not done by an industry insider or a wannabe, or even worse, a has-been. In this podcast, you won't hear a host with a lilting, lisping voice. Lisping. You know what? Lisping is interesting. Why would you give a name to a condition that you couldn't pronounce easily if you had that condition? Because lisping is a speech impediment which would impair you from saying the word lisping. In fact, speech impediment. That's also interesting. You know, if you have trouble seeing, if you have difficulty seeing, they call it a vision impairment. If you have difficulty hearing, they call it a hearing impairment. Yet, if you have difficulty speaking, it's called a speech impediment, which sounds like you're trying to say speech impairment, but you have some sort of impediment keeping you from saying impairment. Weird. Anyway, this is a movie review podcast, and it can be found on the Big Lip Radio network of podcasts, of which there's two different podcasts, Big Lip Radio and Big Lip Radio presents No Girls Allowed. And right now, we're in the middle of reviewing the Alien franchise. Now, May 19th, the new Alien sequel comes out called Covenant, Alien Covenant. So we're gonna be all done with the Alien series prior to that day, and if we have time, we're gonna do Prometheus as well, and then we're gonna review Alien Covenant. And but today we are reviewing Alien 3.
Here, in a world where the sun burns cold and the wind blows colder, a visitor has come, but not by herself.
It started.
The suspense is back.
And we have no weapons of any kind?
The fear is back.
Don't look back, dude! Run as fast as you can!
And most of all, the bitch is back. Alien 3.
Oh, yes, Alien 3. Now, this movie came out in 1992. And I did not see this one in the theater. 1992 was not a great year for this guy. So I didn't see a lot of movies in 1992. However, it cost $50 to $55 million to make. And it made $159 million, almost $160 million. It debuted May 22nd, 1992, from 20th Century Fox. The director was David Fincher. Now, David Fincher is known for a lot of stuff. He was nominated for Academy Award for The Curious Case of Benjamin Button and The Social Network. And he got a Golden Globe Award for the Best Director. and some other award for Best Direction. Anyway, he also directed Seven, Fight Club, Gone Girl, Zodiac, The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, and he's is instrumental in the creation of House of Cards, which is a Netflix show. Let's see. The cast of this movie was, of course, Sigourney Weaver as Ripley, and she reprises the role. And this is the last time she plays a good Ripley. Charles S. Dutton. I knew him on a TV series called Rock, R-O-C, where he played kind of a Dan Connor from Roseanne. He played a Dan Connor type of a dad, and he had stepchildren and all that stuff. It's kind of like a Brady Bunch kind of a thing with a blended family, and that's where I knew him from. So to see him play a brutal murderer/rapist was kind of weird the first time I saw this movie. Anyway, he plays a character named Dylan. Charles Dance plays the Dr. Jonathan Clemens. Brian Glover plays the warden, Andrews. Ralph Brown plays Aaron, who's the assistant to the superintendent, Andrews, and his nickname is 85. And the reason his nickname is 85 is because that turns out to be his IQ. So anyway, there's more in here, but those are the main players. And this movie, let me start off by saying, much, much better than I remembered it. Now, I saw the 2003 version. They made some changes. They added some deleted scenes. The running time is I don't know. Oh, let me look up the running time, because it was a lengthy movie, and I watched what is called the Assembly Edition, the Assembly Cut, which came out in 2003, and it's 145 minutes, and the original theatrical cut was 114 minutes. So it was much better than I remembered. Maybe I've never seen this cut before. I feel like I have. So anyway, the movie starts out. The title and credits are running, and you're looking at what maybe Ripley's nightmare. We don't know. You see a face hugger. You see fire. You see explosions. And her escape module's jettisoned from the Sevago, which, if you remember from Alien 2, they had all escaped LV-426 or 27, I forgot now. And, well, they didn't escape alone. In this new version, instead of a dog being infected with the alien, because apparently there's a second face hugger, an ox is infected with an alien. See, where are we at? Okay, so anyway, the doctor finds Ripley washed up on the shore, and she brings her back and then tells a couple of his cellmates, hey, go search the shoreline. There may be other survivors. They find Newt and they find Hicks. Both of them are deceased. So the problem is she lands on what is known as Fiorina probably is how it's pronounced, nickname Fury, 161. It is a mineral ore refinery out in the Outer Veil, wherever the heck the Outer Veil is. And a good science fiction movie doesn't need to explain this kind of stuff, and this one is a great science fiction movie, so it doesn't explain any of it. But it is a work correction facility, maximum security. Everyone here is a rapist, a murderer, and it's real intense. And these guys, what they have is they've found religion in order to do their work, because they're all sentenced to life. None of them are ever seeing the light of day again. I mean, except for topside in this planet. And so they've all turned to religion. They're very spiritual. And a woman in their midst is going to cause a lot of problems. Let's see where I'm at. Okay, there we go. All right. So anyway, they find Newt, and she demands Ripley to see Newt. She has to see Newt. She has to know how she died. So she sees Newt. There's no indication that she was infected, But she did see a burn mark on the wreckage of the escape pod when she went to look at the escape pod. So she's worried about aliens because they bleed acid. So a burn mark is a very a worrisome thing. So what happens? Where am I here? There we are. So Dr. Clemens does an autopsy for her, and lungs are saturated with water. She clearly drowned. So Ripley demands that the bodies of Hicks and Newt be cremated. So she tells them there's a risk of an infection, cholera, to be specific. And I'm not sure what cholera is, but in this point in time, in this universe, cholera hasn't been reported in 200 years. So they decide to cremate the bodies just in case. Now, as they're cremating the bodies, they go through kind of an artsy, end of life, beginning of life, as the bodies are going down into the fire. And Dylan, Charles S. Dutton's character, Dylan, he gives a nice little sermon, and the sermon is interspliced with an alien bursting out of a dead oxen. It's like, oh man, there's an alien. Only this alien walks on all fours. Now the other aliens we had seen up till this point, they walked upright like men do. So apparently the alien takes some sort of DNA and characteristics of its host, because this one runs on all fours, and it does look more like a dog than an oxen. And so I don't know why for the special edition they went with oxen, which was originally shot as an oxen, but they felt that wasn't threatening enough, so they wanted it to be a Rottweiler. So they reshot the scenes and had it be a Rottweiler that the alien was inside of. So, and let's mention something about the special effects. I'm not really a special effects snob. I can watch the 1933 King Kong just fine. In fact, I love that movie. The very original King Kong, it's the best. However, this movie, they didn't do everything in practical effects. The stuntman in the suit looks amazing. The puppets look great. But in the shots where the alien is running, they used what is clearly a stop-motion alien, and they superimposed it onto the set. So it moves kind of funny, and the color and lighting is never right. And none of those scenes actually work. They all just kind of fall dead. And this movie is strong enough, it's good enough, that I don't think it takes away from the from the overall experience at all. But it is something you're definitely going to notice. Something else I noticed, they're smoking in this movie. And I love it when characters in movies smoke. Because smoking's cool. It was cool then. It's cool now. See, this is why chicks aren't allowed to listen to this show. Actually, chicks can listen to this show. As many of you ladies who want to listen as possible, please download and listen. But this is why the gals have to just sit down in a corner and be quiet, because they would throw a fit if they heard me say smoking is cool, because it is. And a lot of people have trouble handling the truth. But ladies, I'm sorry, the adults are talking, so just listen. Anyway, they're smoking in this movie, and I think it's cool. Now, what Ripley does, because she's told to stay out of the general population, she has to stay away from the inmates, because they're all rapists and murderers. She shaves her head and comes out into the cafeteria like she's a dude. And nobody likes that. People are a little bit upset about that. And so, in fact, she sits down next to Dylan and starts talking to him. And the first thing he says to her is, "Lady, you don't want to know me. I am a murderer and rapist of women." It's like, whoa. So, we cut next to a prisoner who's in an air shaft, and he's cleaning this air shaft. And you hear me turn my pages, I'll wager. And so he's cleaning the air shaft, and he notices a broken vent. And he sees some movement down in the vent. So as he looks into this vent, the alien snags him. And he falls backwards into the fan blade of this air shaft and is sliced and diced. So Clemens, the doctor, goes to take a look, because that's his job, and he notices by the broken vent that there's some burns, like there's acid. And now suddenly he starts to get a little bit worried. Andrews, meanwhile, the superintendent of the joint, grabs Clemens, says, "You got to get to my office." They sit down and talk. It seems that the Wayland Corporation has contacted the prison planet and said, "Hey, look, Ripley's high priority. Keep her safe." And that's priority one. And so he tells Clemens to keep an eye on her and don't let her get hurt. Meanwhile, Ripley goes to find Bishop because she grabbed the flight deck recorder from the Sevago. She needs to know if there were any aliens aboard the Sevago because she feels like there was. So while she's doing that, about 5 of the prisoners corner her and attempt to have their way. And Dylan comes in, saves the day, beats the hell out of them, sends her on her way, says, "Look, I got to re-educate some of my brothers. You go on your way." And he's got a pipe, and he's beating the hell out of these guys. So she goes on her way, and she hooks up Bishop. She gets him working again, and he's in a mess. He's got like half a face, and the only part that's left really is from the chest up. And she has him read the flight deck recording, and he confirms that, yes, there were 2 face huggers on board the Sevago when they went to sleep. Let's see, where are we at? Okay, so now she's talking to the doctor. The doctor's got her in the infirmary. She's coming clean with him, and he's coming clean with her. He's not only the doctor of the joint, but he's also a former prisoner. And turns out he was hooked on his own medicine, some morphine. And some people were killed as a result of his actions. So he had to do 7 years as a prisoner, and he ended up staying there afterwards. And here it is where the doctor meets the alien.
So I went out and I got more than a little drunk. Then I got called back. Boiler had blown on a fuel plant and there were 30 casualties. And 11 of them died. Not as a result of the accident, but because I prescribed the wrong dosage of painkiller. I got 7 years in prison and my license reduced to a 3C. At least I got off the morphine. I think I was let off lightly.
Did you serve your time here?
I got to know this motley crew quite well. So when they stayed, I stayed. Nobody else would employ me. So, do you still trust me with a needle?
Now, in the infirmary, there's also a prisoner who is tied down to the bed because he saw 2 other prisoners get killed, and they think he killed those prisoners. Now the alien shows up behind the doctor. Ripley's panicking. And the alien's got the doctor. The prisoner in the bed is freaking because he's seen the alien before. The alien's smelling Ripley, but he's not attacking her. And up the alien goes back into the ventilation shaft. Whew, good scene. Now, the prisoner is shackled to the bed because earlier in the story, before the rape attempt, he's downstairs with a couple of his buddies down in the basement doing their jobs, and an alien come out, killed both of his buddies, didn't kill him. He's covered in blood. So naturally, they assume that he killed the friends because he's just talking babble. Oh, there's a monster. He called it a dragon. There's a dragon down there, and he's killing everybody. So they of course tied him to the bed in the infirmary. So that's when he, that's when he saw the alien kill the doctor. Now, what's happening is Ripley's got to let everybody know that holy crap, there's the alien. He's here. And he just killed the doctor. And meanwhile, everyone is gathered in the cafeteria for rumor control. Warden Andrews always does rumor control. And so he's gathered everybody up in the cafeteria, and he's trying to give them the straight story on what's going on. How come 2 people have already died? And Ripley is running to the cafeteria.
Here are the facts. At 0800 hours, prisoner Murphy, through carelessness on his part, was found dead in vent shaft 17. He seems to have been sucked into a ventilator.
Ripley's running.
2100 hours. Prisoner Golick reappeared in a deranged state. Prisoners Boggs and Rains are missing. There seems to be a good chance that they have met with foul play at the hands of prisoner Golick. We need to organize and send out a search party. Volunteers will be appreciated. I think it's fair to say that our smoothly running facility has suddenly developed a few problems. I can only hope we are able to all pull together over the next few days until the rescue team arrives for Lieutenant Ripley.
Now, it is important to notice, before I continue on with this clip, that the warden is trapped underneath the air shaft. He's not trapped. He's standing underneath an air shaft. An alien's about to come out and grab him and pull him up.
Here are the
I may have just effed up. Yeah, I did F up. Oh. Okay, that clip's broken. My bad. So anyway, the warden dies. And now, nobody's in charge. Who's in charge? The warden's assistant got an 85 IQ. Ripley is a lieutenant. And they look to her for leadership, but she's also a woman, and she brought the thing. She brought the alien with her, so there's a whole lot of problems. Everybody's upset. Let me look at my notes. Okay, there we go. So they decide that Ripley's going to lead them, and so asking about the prison, she's like, "Is there anywhere that's impenetrable?" Well, there's a toxic waste storage facility there on site. So she says, "Okay, let's pull all the toxic waste out of here." Okay, there's only one way in, one way out. You can't get to the air shafts from there. We'll pull all the toxic waste out. We're going to dump it through the ventilation shafts, since that's where the alien's living. Start it on fire. The alien's going to run to safety, and the only safe place for the alien to go is going to be that toxic waste storage area, and they're going to close the door on it. So they decide, okay, that's how we're going to do it. And a couple of people are killed, but it actually works. The alien is captured. Ripley's talking to 85, and she's like, "Hey, we've got to kill this thing." 85 says, "Hey, look, man, I'm talking to the command, and they say don't kill it. You got to save it." And she said, "Look, they're going to come here. They're going to grab the alien, and then they're going to kill everybody involved everybody who's seen this, they're going to kill. And so we got to kill this alien to save ourselves. Not to mention the entire human race, because if just one of these guys gets back to Earth, they'll kill everybody. So let's see. So now what happens is she also goes to medical, and she has 85 help her operate a X-ray machine, and she realizes that she's carrying a queen. That's why the other alien wouldn't kill her. She's carrying a queen, so it can lay the eggs, and the species can live on this planet. Let's see, where am I at? Here we go. So now what happens is the guy who's trapped in the bed has taken to worshiping this alien. Comes to worship the dragon. So he asked one of the guys, hey man, let me up, man. We're buddies. Let me out of here. Because one of the guys was sent back to watch him, keep an eye on him. Hey, don't I give you cigarettes? Come on, man. Let me go. And so the guy decides, okay, you know what? That's fine. So the guy unleashes him. And immediately, the guy in the bed knocks out the other guy, then runs down to the toxic storage room, opens it up to let the queen out, or let the alien out. The alien, of course, kills him, and now we're right back at square one. So Ripley decides, since she's got a queen in her, she's going to go and try to have this alien kill her. So that way there's no egg layers, and it's going to end with this alien.
Don't be afraid. I'm part of the family.
So she's going to where she believes the queen is. She thinks she sees the queen laying on a pipe.
You've been in my life so long. I can't remember anything else. Now do something for me. It's easy. Just do what you do.
So she swats at the alien to provoke it. And the alien's not there. It's a pipe. And all kinds of roaches are crawling out. Now she's like, where's the alien? Looking around. She don't see it. But there it is. Behind her. And again, it refuses to kill her. Even provoked, it will not kill her. So, the other inmates have decided, hey, they're either going to, die on their knees or die on their feet. So, the least they can do is die on their feet. So, what they're going to do is, they all get together with Ripley. And Ripley asks Dylan, hey, kill me. He says, no, you help me kill the queen, then we'll kill you. Then I'll go ahead and take care of you. And she says, all right, deal. Let's go find this thing. So what they're going to do is they're going to lead them back. This is an ore refinery station. So they're going to lead the alien back into the refinery. And then dump molten lead onto the alien. Now, in order to do this, now they don't have anything to push the alien, so they have to use themselves as bait. So, long story short, at some point there's Dylan and Ripley down at the bottom of one of these pits with molten lead ready to drop down. There's the alien. Here we go.
I'm telling you, I want to die.
We got a deal. Remember? It dies first, then you. I'm not going to move without you. Now get going.
So they start climbing up to the controls to where they can drop the lead. Dylan drops
Hold
back
it
down.
there.
What about me?
God will take care of you now, sister.
He's going to sacrifice himself.
Pour the lead.
So he's going to let the alien waste time killing him. So Ripley has time to climb to the top and pour the lead on top of both of them. So they dumped the lead on this thing, right? So you're thinking it's over. Well, the music's indicating it's over. It must be over. Except for the creature comes flying out of the lead. It's swimming up through the lead. Oh my God, the molten lead didn't even kill it. So, it's chasing everybody down. Ripley gets to the fire sprinkler system. And really one of the weakest moments of the movie, which happens to be at the climax. She turns on the sprinkler. It hits the alien with all the hot lead on it. The hot lead immediately freezes and splits, thus splitting the alien. Just as Wayland and his team come in for their rescue operation, and they're trying to convince Ripley, "Hey, come with us. Nobody's gonna die. Everybody's gonna be okay. We're gonna save you. We're gonna kill this thing." Blah blah blah. Well, the charade ends pretty quickly, and Ripley ends up giving the ultimate sacrifice.
What's this going to achieve? Stop! Jesus!
They shoot one of Ripley's friends.
You help me.
What do you want me to do? It was a mistake. There was no need for any of it.
Now 85 hit Wayland with a wrench. And they shoot and kill 85. Now, I don't know if Wayland, who looks just like Bishop, is actually another android, or if Wayland actually created droids that look just like him. But he's bleeding red blood, not white, but his ear is hanging off him from getting hit.
Think of all we can learn from it. It's the chance of a lifetime. You must let me have it. It's a magnificent specimen. No pictures.
He yelled at his photographer, "No pictures." Now she's on the control booth overlooking the molten lead. So now what she does, she falls backwards into the molten lead, arms wide in a Christ-like image. And she kills herself and the alien within her. And boom, literally right from there to the credits. That was the end. Now, this movie, as I said, this movie is much better than I remember it being. And I was like, it's a C. It's a solid B+, maybe an A-. I wouldn't recommend watching the theatrical version because that's probably the version I watched that made me feel like this wasn't a great movie. But believe me, it is a great movie, and I highly recommend you go get it. Earlier today, I was out at Walmart. The 40th anniversary Star Wars figures are out, and I thought I'd go to Walmart to see if I could snag one. The only thing, they only had one left, and it was a Jawa. I picked it up because what are you going to do? I want all 12 of them. So I picked it up, but while I was there, they had a display because we're just a couple of weeks from the next Alien movie, an Alien-named movie, aside from Alien vs. Predator, has not come out since 1997, I believe, is when Alien Resurrection came out, which is the follow-up to Alien 3 that we just saw, which will also be the next movie on our to-do list for this podcast will be Alien Resurrection. It's got Sigourney Weaver. It's got it's got Winona Ryder. Thank you. That's her name. It's got Winona Ryder in it. It's. I remember not liking that one at all, but we'll see. So anyway, the next Alien Covenant, next Alien movie comes out in just a couple of weeks, 19 days, 20 days. And so Walmart had a whole display of the Alien movies. And they had the Alien Quadrilogy, the one I have, and all the fancy packaging that I paid $130 for. Now, I saw it in slightly less fancy packaging for $40. Today, I saw it. It looks like it's in one of those single Blu-ray packs. And, you know, they put all them sleeves in there so you can put a lot of discs in there. $17. $17. Go down to Walmart right now, look for that Alien display, and get that $17 Alien Quadrilogy. You will thank me. And join us again next time as we all get ready. Where am I at? Oh, there we go. As we all get ready to watch Alien Covenant. And we're going to watch Alien Resurrection. Next time here on Big Lip Radio Presents No Girls Allowed, the movie review podcast.